Well, I'm joined now by the Guardian columnist Polly Toynbee and the LBC presenter Nick Ferrari. Thanks for joining us here on NewsTalk Live. Polly, first of all, a lot of people are going to like this. Tories clearly think it's a vote winner, so why do you object to it?
I think it's going to be a great vote winner, and I think people will like it. It's one of those things politicians announce at conferences, and it's only much later when they start to implement it that people, rather like the bedroom tax, which at first was very popular and now is very unpopular with the general public. When they look at the reality of, say, what are we going to have? 1 million people in unpaid jobs indefinitely? And who's going to provide these jobs? I mean, charities, I will bet, will have nothing to do with this. They just step back from this. Is it local authorities? It's very expensive to create programs where you can get large numbers of people working. So who's going to do the money? How are local authorities going to do it? I think the practicalities of this will be very difficult. And also, as Andy was saying, that these are the hard cases. They're either in areas of extreme high unemployment, so they're unlikely to move into real jobs, or they are people with quite serious problems, mental problems, and apparently it will cover those who are mentally ill and those who are physically disabled.
That's the thing, isn't it, Nick? It sounds good, but actually it's really hard to make this work.
Yes, it is, but that shouldn't deflect them from trying. My one concern, the only thing I will give Polly, is that if it's seen that it's providing jobs or taking jobs away from people who are working at supermarket chains or national tyre fitting companies, that's totally unfair. We can't be doing that because that's going to rob people. But the bottom line is this has been tried in America and it worked quite successfully. Guess what happened? There's a thriving, if I can use the expression, black economy over there, whatever you want to call it, where people are paid cash, and suddenly people stop claiming benefits because they realise that they would be flushed out. So if that is going on, which is illegal, and some of that has stopped, that's got to be a good thing.
A couple of tweets here. Michelle Kent says, another form of slave labour, less jobs for those trying to find work, yet another attack on the poorest. And Carl Bradby says, the streets should always be litter-free. Let's get the unemployed out tidying up and helping old folk. Well, what do you think of that line from Carl?
I mean, there is work to be done, but does that mean we're not going to have any other street cleaners? I mean, this is a very large number of people. Does that mean they'll put out of work ordinary street cleaners, that it'll all be done by, as it were, slave labour, people on £70 a week indefinitely? I mean, there are so many problems with this. What people need is, yes, they need jobs, they need work experience, they need help into work.
Discipline, Polly, you know that. And
yes,
some of these poor youngsters have never had that discipline. They don't know about. We're talking about, you know, this fourth generation families who've never done any work.
In some, there aren't any. It's been completely exploded. Ian Duncan Smith kept saying it. The Joseph Rowntree Foundation then did all the research. It's a total myth about 4 generations or 3.
Well, certainly there are places where Grandad and Dad haven't done any work. You've got to get the lad out.
Not true.
Well, I'm sorry. Okay.
We'll do it afterwards. I'll send you all the research. It's actually
all right.
A myth.
You'll allow this. Dad has never done any work. The boy has got to get up at 8 o'clock, go and do some work, whether it might be stacking shelves or whatever. He's got to do that.
Well, stacking shelves, what? Instead of somebody who is
working in a charity shop, working in the community. Sweeping the text has said, great idea, sweeping the streets. That's a fantastic idea.
So what happens to the street sweepers?
What's the alternative?
Well, the alternative is to get them into work. You certainly want to get them into work. You want to get them into constructive work. You want to get them trained. You want all of this, but it has to be paid. Michael Heseltine had a scheme at the end of John Major's government called Workfare, which was based on the American system, but it did pay people some extra on top of their benefit, and that makes a huge difference.
Dignity in work, Nick, but there has to be some sort of payment, doesn't there?
Well, the payment is that you're going to get your benefits. And the dignity, I think, is a great word, Simon. That is the word, because work gives you dignity, gives you respect, gives you a discipline. That's what's needed.
So does pay.
They get the pay. It's called benefits.
And Nick, thank you very much for coming in tonight. Cheers.